Boom, boom, bam. Welcome back to another edition of The Great Debate Show. I'm your host, Uncle JJ. Yep, and I got something to say. What do I have to say? Sports stuff, as usual. I do this weekdays, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, live on TikTok and YouTube. I'm supposed to be on X right now, formerly known as Twitter and Instagram. Go follow The Great Debate Show on those pages and platforms as well. I'm not able to do so right now because they won't let me go live on my laptop. I only got so many devices in here, only so many phones, so I got to figure out another way. I don't have a lot of followers on X anyway, but I never will get more if I can't figure this out. So bear with me. I'll try that again tomorrow or later today. But yeah, what it's coming down to is I may have to tighten up on my live streams because I only got so many devices. I can't be live on 4 or 5 different platforms every day. So I may start back uploading videos and the video will just come out at its regular scheduled programming and I just won't be live all the time. That's what I'm thinking is going to come down to right now. We'll see. But anyway, on the audio side, the Great Debate Show is available wherever you get your podcast. Rate, review, and follow. Those episodes are going too long for the people that are just listening on Spotify and Apple and everything. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to shorten these episodes up, meaning I may have to take away some of the live streams because that's what makes these episodes run longer than what the people listening to want it to. So anyway, just got to do what you got to do. You know, I'm trying to make sure that the numbers grow on the visual side, but I also can't let the numbers decline on the audio side. But anyway, enough of that. The Great Debate Show, again, available on TikTok and YouTube live weekdays, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and available wherever you get your podcast. If you want to hear this podcast more, if you like this podcast, share this live stream with others that listen to sports and, you know, listen to this type of sports content. And yeah, share the live stream, like it, follow it. If you're on TikTok, please hit the follow button. It helps me out with the algorithm where we will start to pop up on more people's channel, on more people's page. And then on YouTube, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Hit the like button, thumbs up, comments, all of those things help with the algorithm. So last night I came in here and I talked about the 2025 NBA champions who are now the OKC Thunder. Want to give another congratulations to them. And we also at the same time want to, give our condolences and, speedy recovery to Tyrese Halliburton and what happened to him last night in that devastating loss to the OKC Thunder last night. Most of the people kind of knew that they lost the championship right then and there when he went down. I saw what happened. I knew it was an Achilles. And even though they haven't just came out and said that it's ruptured or tore or whatever, and he's done for the 2026 season, he's done for the 2026 season. There's just no coming around it. Suffering an injury like this late in the season. It was the last game of the year. Even Dame Lillard, Jason Tatum are ahead of him. They're going to be ahead of schedule when it comes to surgery and rehab and all of that. So again, thoughts and prayers to him. I hear he's in great spirits, though, as anyone could be after sustaining such a unfortunate injury at this time. But again, that's the name of the game. He knew that he was taking a chance when he suited up and said, I'm going to play, coach. I'm going to start. And again, we tip our hat to him because he's a warrior and he went out like a warrior. This is the thing that I want to talk about real quick before I get into the Thunder and what they could do in the foreseeable future in the Western Conference, in the NBA. Because I got a feeling they're about to be the next hated team. And they're not a dynasty yet, but they could be. It's a possibility. And I think a lot of people don't want that. People don't like SGA. People don't like... I don't know what they don't like about the team, but SGA is the MVP, and they don't really like him, except unless you're a Thunder fan. So we're going to get into if the Thunder are going to be a dynasty or not. But before I get into that, let's focus on Halliburton just a little bit more. Again, we tip our hat to Tyrese Halliburton because he is a motherfucking warrior. And he went out like a warrior. And we would have all trashed him and dragged him through the mud had he said, no, I may tear my Achilles. I'm taking a big chance. I'm not playing. What if he had done that, though? What if he had took the Kawhi Leonard approach? I'm asking for a reason. Why? Well, remember how we've kind of gave some flack to Kawhi, like, is he really hurt? Is he really injured? You know, this guy just will not play. Is he not playing because he's injured? Or is he not playing because he's just hurt and he doesn't want to play? He's not passionate. He doesn't love the game anymore. Is he cheating the game? Is he tarnishing his legacy? There's just so many questions that we've asked about Kawhi, because if the smallest little thing happens to him, most of it's been knee problems, but any injury that he has on his body, he shuts it down. Now, we've questioned that method for a while now. However, after looking at what happened last night to Tyrese Halliburton, what happened to Dame Lillard, what happened to Jason Tatum, all three of those superstars, and they all are superstars. If you didn't think Halliburton was before, now you know he is now. And we don't know what was about to happen. We probably would be saying he's a champion right now had he not got hurt. I'm not saying that. I'm not refuting that wouldn't have happened at all. I'm just saying don't call the Thunder injury champs just because they won the championship and the Pacers had an injury. They had to still play the game and finish the game, and somebody had to win it. But we don't know if the Pacers would have won with him or not. We don't know. But we damn sure knew it looked good. I can remember my daughter calling me like, see, Dad, I told you. He's hot. He's finna be on fire. And I'm like, you said it, baby girl. You're right. Let's see how this goes. And right after that phone call, he goes down. And she was like, Dad, I didn't jinx him, did I? I said, of course not. Of course not. He was playing with a calf strain. This was bound to happen. It happens. It's happened to many of them. Kevin Durant. We've seen it. So should these players start taking the Kawhi Leonard approach and say, nah, I'm straight. I ain't about to ruin my career. I'm not about to rupture my Achilles. Because when we get a calf strain, we know that's the next thing that can happen. You're taking a chance when you continue to play and put all that wear and tear on that muscle down there. And it popped, just like KD's popped in the 2019 finals in Toronto. And you knew then. Well, especially when Klay went down afterwards. But you knew, damn, the Warriors are not going to three-peat. That's what stopped it. Now, could the Raptors had to beat the Warriors without, with KD healthy, with Klay Thompson healthy? Yeah, they could have, but we were watching, and it didn't look like that was going to happen. And last night, well, we saw Halliburton play this entire series. He had a lot of bad games. We have to remember that. And just because he shot 3 threes out of his first 4 attempts doesn't mean that he was going to go off for 40 and they were going to win the championship. We just don't know what would have happened. But what I'm saying is, how could it have been prevented? It could have been prevented if Halliburton just said, you know what? F y'all. I don't give a damn what y'all say. I don't give a damn what y'all tweet. I don't give a damn what you post or what you think. What you got to say? I'm going to be healthy, and I'm going to be able to go to training camp when the 2025-2026 season begins. This is if he had took the Kawhi approach. But he said, no, I'm a Warrior. I'm going to play. KD said, no, I'm a Warrior. I'm going to play. And look where it got him. Look where this got Halliburton. They possibly could be champions right now today, and they're not. Because he wanted to be a Warrior. So what I'm saying is, social media, the internet as a whole, us fans being so fickle at times, being so insensitive, thinking that just because they get paid millions of dollars, oh, he shut up and just quit your bitching and just play. What if he didn't play? What if he said, Coach, TJ McCollum's doing a great job for you. I'm going to let y'all, it'll be better that you all can be 100% than to me come out there and I'm only 50% and I can't give it my all. I don't give us the best chance to win. Had he said that, y'all probably would have dragged him through the mud. That's why he played. But look what that got him. Now nobody cares. We feel sorry for him. 24, 48 hours pass. What the hell? Everybody goes back to their regular 9 to 5. Everybody goes back to their life. And Halliburton has to go through surgery. He has to go through rehab. He's going to go through all of that by himself. And he did that for the fans. He did that for Indiana. He did that for his teammates, his peers. And of course he did it for himself, but I think knowing Halliburton, he was at the bottom of that list. Because he seems like a good young man, a good kid that just wants to play, and he wants to bring a championship to the state of Indiana. But this is where that gets us sometimes, trying to do what everybody wants us to do, trying to do what we think is best, instead of just doing what you think is best. This really does bring a lot of PTSD, a lot of trauma to you, a lot of mental illnesses. This is what causes that shit. If he didn't play, everybody would be dragging him through the mud right now. He'd be crucified. But he did play. I hope you're all happy, but look where it got him. And I'm not blaming the fans, not blaming myself or you all. I'm just saying that maybe Kawhi isn't so, whatever the word is you call him these days. A quitter. No passion. Doesn't love the game anymore. Doesn't give a damn. Whatever it is that you call him. Lazy. Maybe he's just smart. Because at the end of the day, Kawhi's going to be ready for when the season starts. So we think. And if there is anything wrong with him, we know he ain't going to make that injury, escalate into something even worse. Because he's gonna wait until he's 110% before he plays. And I'm not saying that that's the right approach either. I'm just saying that if Halliburton looked at it at least halfway the way Kawhi looks at it, maybe he'd still be ready for next year. And we'd be saying, hey man, the Pacers can still come back next year. Now we're asking the question is, how good will they be in 2026 without him? That's what we're asking ourselves now. I just wanted to take the time to say that. I know that took a little too long, but I feel for him, man. And I think that sometimes us fans and the media and social media and all of that, the mainstream, I think that's that pressure, that added pressure that's not needed that makes these players say, fuck it. I'm doing it. Be a man. Be a man. I'm tough. I can do it. I'm playing. Ain't nothing gonna hold me back. That whole if I can walk, I'm playing mentality. Now we can't walk. And I feel for the brother, man. I just wanted to take that time to say that because I think sometimes we can push them to the edge to do things that they really, didn't think that they wanted or should have done. Now, I know that's what the medical staff is for. We're not the doctors. We're not the trainers. And we're damn sure not the athlete. So I'm not saying that it's our fault. I'm just saying that don't think that some of us in the media don't play a part to why these players say, man, I got to do what I got to do. They're going to clown me if I don't play. If I don't at least try to give it a go. He gave it a go. Boy, did he ever. 30-point blowout in Game 6. Got off to a hot start in Game 7. The best start that we've seen him play because he was hot and cold this entire series. Let's be honest. That's why we can't say they were going to win for sure if he didn't get hurt. We don't know that. But they could have. And we didn't get to see that. And it's because he did it for us. The people, the fans, the city, Indiana, his peers. He did it for us. And I just hate that their brother is going to have to go through a long 9 to 12 month rehab and just thinking of what might have been. Sad situation. So I'm just saying in the future, when players start getting these calf strains that seem to be a little bit mild or somewhat severe, are we going to question them or fault them if they decide to say, hey, man, I'm going to put it on the shelf for a couple of weeks. I want this calf strain to be damn near 100% before I do something worse to it. I'm just saying, maybe the players will start asking themselves that now. I'm not saying go all the way out like Kawhi. I'm not saying they got to be 110, 120% before they even play. But if they thought remotely close to Kawhi's thought about should he or should he not play when dealing with a hampering injury, maybe this wouldn't be the outcome. That's all I'm saying. How do y'all feel about it? I just wanted to just say that, though, because last night I didn't take the time to talk about that. It was a lot to cover. The Thunder won the championship. Yes, Halliburton got hurt. Everybody was jumping in the comments saying, yeah, but if he didn't get hurt, they would have won. but we don't know any of that. All I'm saying is, should players start to use their brain a little bit more instead of just saying, fuck it. If I can walk, I'm playing. Look what that mentality got him. That's all I'm saying. Good morning to Sooner Babe 87 says, I wish I could miss work tomorrow to go to the parade. I bet you do. I bet you do. Let me know if you change your mind on that. Because I bet you a lot of people are going to be like, man, screw work. You know, let me know. But congratulations to you and all you OKC fans. Grand Rising Kings and Queens. I hope all is well on a magnificent Monday. I want to give a shout out to Mandy and Kenny McKinnon and everybody that's joining me right now on the live TikTok show. Facts, but would have put belt on OKC 9 points in 7 minutes? Like, come on, bro. Man, I just said he got out to a hot start. What else do you want me to say? But it was still 4 minutes left in the first quarter. There was a lot of game left, and we don't know how it would have ended. That's all I'm saying. Mandy May says Kevin should let us off work tomorrow. Thunder is up, says Mandy Mays. Matt says, go Niners, my brother. That's right. Gonzalez in the building. Thank you for joining us. Sooner Babe. Gonzalez. But OKC is probably going to be a dynasty now, especially since they have picks and young players. That's what I'm about to get into in a minute. They very well could be a dynasty. Chef Man Sam says, now he missing the whole next season. My point exactly. My point exactly. This was his dream and the dream of most players in the NBA. Tough situation, man. Blue said, going to the finals might never happen again. He didn't do it for you or me or the fans. Okay. Either way it goes, he did it. And right now it looks like it was a terrible decision. That's all I'm trying to say. Maybe Kawhi isn't so dumb after all when he says, I ain't playing. I'm not here. I'm not ready. This could be more worse if I do this or if I do that. I know it's frustrating and it got on people's nerves with the Spurs, now the Clips, but this is what happens when you say, fuck it. I'm playing anyway. Chief Man Sam said, sun's up. Blue said, I respectfully disagree. He realized that this was a once-in-a-career opportunity. I never said that he was wrong to do it. I asked a question. Y'all got a hard time of listening. Are you listening to me? Brother Blue? I understand it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And I didn't say he shouldn't have went on and played. I said, should he? I asked a question. And yet you still haven't gave me an answer. I asked, should these players start reconsidering? Because this is still their future, their health. And we all know health is wealth. So what if he had a championship on the line? And his ruptured Achilles was on the line too. It wasn't ruptured before he decided to say, fuck it, I'm playing anyway. Now again, I said he's a warrior. I said he has the heart of fire, the courage, all of that. Bravery, he's that, all of that, and more. I said that. And we tip our hat to the brother. And we feel bad for him because he did it. He tried to do it. And it doesn't matter if he didn't do it for me or if he didn't do it for the fans. It doesn't matter why he did it. He did it. I'm just saying, should players start questioning, should they continue to do that? It's starting to seem a bit dumb. That's all I'm saying. Because he still didn't get the championship, and now he's still not going to play in 2026. The only reason why it would have been worth it is if he could have gotten the chip. But how could he have done that while he's taking a chance on popping his Achilles, and it popped? And look how quick it happened. He wouldn't have made it through that entire game anyway, playing at that level. All this space and pace that they play now. Seems like it just puts a lot of wear and tear. I can't remember a time where players got hurt like they do today in this era. And I'm not here to try to throw shade at this generation of talent or anything like that either. But you just never saw players get hurt like that. Jordan and Pippen won 6 championships because they were able to stay healthy for a majority of their career. Jordan broke his foot his second year in the league. Never had a big injury like that again to where he would miss time like that. Pippen, I don't even recall, except for 98. And he waited to the last minute to have surgery because he was pissed off at the Chicago front office. Kobe didn't start taking injuries until the later part of his career. He was already a living legend, a baby goat by then. When he tore his Achilles, his career had already been solidified. I just can't remember. Shaq, Olajuwon, all of these players back in the day, football, go back to that, Jerry Rice, all of these players that were able to, Moss, T.O. Now these people tear stuff just like that. You didn't see ACL tear. Now, I know we can talk about the grass, the turf that they play on and all that with football, but what about basketball? It's the same hardwood floor. It's the same 82-game schedule. And they don't play as much as those guys played back in the day. They get paid way more money, but they get injured an awful lot. Why? What is that? It's got to be what they're putting in their bodies, how they're eating, how they take care of themselves. I don't know. Are they training? Or are they overtraining? I just don't know. But I've never seen players get hurt like this. And right now we've got 3. When can y'all remember the NBA having 3 stars of this league all going to be out at the same time? They're going to miss the entire season because they all suffered bad injuries in the playoffs, and they were all the same damn injury. I just wonder, what is up with that? But again, man, I tip my hat to the Warrior, even though he's a Pacer. But Tyrese Halliburton is a hell of a Warrior, and I know he was going for it all. I know he was going for the championship. I get it. But I'm just saying, look where it got him. Maybe these players should reconsider. Maybe they should reconsider. That's all I'm saying. I know he got far, and it's hard to say, no, I can't play. But if he couldn't walk, he wouldn't have been able to play. I just think they need to be a little bit more smarter about this. And that goes for the training staff and everything else too. What are they telling him? Somebody needs to be able to say, there has to be the good pixie and the bad pixie on the shoulder. The one in all white and the one in all red. Somebody has to say, you don't have to do this now. These are the consequences that you would face if something were to happen. These are the chances that you're taking. Did anybody tell him that? Probably not. It probably was just varsity blues. Yeah, you can do it. Just take the shot. Not saying that anybody gave him a shot or anything. I'm just telling you that, had 9 times out of 10, these players, these teams, these coaching staffs and assistants, they want you to play. They want to win. Just like he did, of course, but damn, you hate that this happened like that. I don't want to spend too much more time on him, but I just wanted to talk about it because, I ain't trying to be insensitive at all. I hate that happened to the brother. But some people might have thought that I was being a little insensitive when I said I hated for him, but he knew he was taking a chance. And the Thunder still had to go win their championship, y'all. But trust me, it looked like they didn't want it either for a minute. They were devastated too. Mark Daggett had to slap them up at halftime and say, y'all need to snap out of it. Do you want this ring or not? It's there waiting for you to just take it. The Pacers looked like they were ready to go, but the Thunder looked like, for a minute the Pacers were like, they were in awe. But they were like, come on, y'all, we still can win this thing. The Thunder did not look like they wanted to take it because they knew what they were going to hear. Alex Caruso had something to say about all the people talking about him being a COVID champion when he won that 2020 championship with the Lakers. He said, finally, I can get that monkey off my back because people have not gave him credit for it. There's no COVID now. They're not in a bubble, So, yeah. He has a championship now to where they didn't play in a bubble. And they played the full season. And there's nothing to say. And he's 2-0 in the finals now. Congratulations to Caruso. Congratulations to SGA, who just joined, a great room of company of legends, where he's one of a few players to win an NBA championship, lead the league in scoring, win the league MVP, and the finals MVP, all in one season. You don't see that happen often. They do one, but they don't check all of those boxes. He did. Regardless of how or what happened or who got hurt. Just got to say that. Okay. Just wanted to speak on that. We got okay, he says, I'm not saying you wrong, brother. I was just saying it's crazy. It is. And I'm not saying that you're saying I'm wrong. I'm just saying that just y'all listen to me. I'm saying that the brother did it for himself, of course, as well. But we can't act like that they don't hear the outside noise, and that doesn't, put pressure on them to do something that they mentally probably know that they shouldn't do. That's all I'm saying. But that's that thing, everybody's trying to be heroic, and I probably would have did it too. More than likely, I would have did it. But I'd also be fucked up today just like he's fucked up today. And the whole season is gone for him next year. Now we got to question, what can the Pacers do? I tell you what, whoever wins the Eastern Conference next season, they're going to feel like whoever has the money in the bank briefcase and they're about to go cash it in. Like, oh shit, this is my chance. This is my chance. Such and such just left somebody just laid out cold, knocked out. I'm about to go cash it in. I'm about to be a world heavyweight champion. That feeling when they're about to cash that money in the bank briefcase in, that's what the Eastern Conference has to feel like right now, whether you're the Cleveland Cavaliers, the New York Knicks, the Detroit Pistons, the Philadelphia 76ers. Who's coming back with PG, 13, MB, Maxey, that McCain guy that everybody's telling me about in the comments, who kind of was robbed of his rookie year due to a torn meniscus. He's coming back. I looked that brother up out there. Everybody talked about him last night. I see what y'all talking about. Watch out for the Sixers. Either way, whoever wins, you're gonna put a red asterisk by them too, because you're gonna say, well, if Halliburton had played during the season, probably would have been the Pacers again. Or you're gonna say, well, what about if Jason Tatum didn't get hurt? The Celtics would have took their crown back. What if Dame Lillard could have been there for Giannis and they finally had a whole year together being healthy? Because Lord knows they haven't. It's just going to be so many ifs and buts. And that's why it's going to feel like whoever wins, they just got the money in the bank briefcase. They've had it for a minute and they've been waiting on their moment to cash in. And now they see Halliburton, Dame Lillard, and Jason Tatum all in the ring with torn Achilles, and they can't do a damn thing to protect themselves. Somebody's coming with that briefcase, whether it be the Cavaliers or the Sixers. They're coming in to cash in, and they're going to pin one of these brothers and be champion. That's what it feels like. I hate to use a WWE analogy, but that's what it feels like in my mind. Because everybody's still going to say, yeah, but what if he was healthy? What if he was healthy? What if he was healthy? But again, you don't expect the Cleveland Cavaliers to sit down and lay down and say, we're going to wait till 2027 and run this shit back. No, they got to win a championship. They got to play ball. So who will it be that's going to take advantage of these three guys and these three teams who are going to go without their stars next year in an unfortunate situation? Can Cleveland get back to what they were this year, a great regular season team that got bounced by the Pacers? But they did have injuries, just like Halliburton just suffered one. Now, if you're going to make excuses for the Pacers, nobody made excuses for the Cavs. They just said, you wasn't good enough. That's why I say people be saying a lot of biased things on here. Where was the love for Cleveland? Garland was out for a game or two. Mobley was out for a game or two. Then Spider got hurt. Donovan Mitchell. Jared Allen missed a game. That's a lot of people to be out. And it's the playoffs. What if they can get everybody back and they come back healthy and there are no Pacers to upset them and knock them off? There are no injuries. What if the Sixers do everything that we thought they probably should have did this year on paper? But if they're healthy next year, what if they run it back? And what if we got the Cavaliers and the Sixers in the Eastern Conference Finals? Are you going to give them the credit, or are you going to say, yeah, but if Tatum, yeah, but if Halliburton had a... So all I'm doing is just hitting the fast forward button. These are the things that we're going to hear. And it's an unfortunate situation, but that it is what it is, right? Damn. Where do you rank the Thunder? Let's go back to giving them their credit. Let's not discredit them. Where do you rank them as far as an all-time great championship team? Defensively, they were historically great. But a lot of people don't think they would have beaten the 90 Bulls or this Warrior team from a decade ago, or even maybe the Miami Heatles with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. Hell, some people don't even think they would have beaten the OKC Thunder team in 2012. I got that debate up right now on the Facebook page. If you're not following the Great Debate Show on Facebook, please go do so. That's going to get a lot of comments. Everybody's going to engage on that one. Because if you look at the lineup and the matchup, it's pretty good. And that's fucked up, but I got it off the internet. Everybody's playing the old Thunder versus the new Thunder. How does KD feel about not winning a championship for his team that drafted him? And he's been long gone. Does this hurt KD's legacy? I say it does. Not only did he win a championship with a team where he didn't belong, he didn't even belong in Golden State, but he ran. When the kitchen got hot, he ran out of the kitchen in OKC. SGA had bad seasons as a Thunder. He didn't run. He stayed. He weathered the storm. No pun intended. He weathered the thunderstorm. And it got him a championship because he hung in there and he remained patient. Like a lot of other, NBA legends that did it in the past. Like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas. People that stayed with the team that drafted them. Or their team. Their main team. I know Kobe didn't get drafted by the Lakers, but y'all know what I mean. KD got out of there. Said, I'm going to Golden State. SGA didn't leave. He stayed, and this is his reward. This is the fruits of his labor. I'm happy for him for that. Just for that alone. Okay. I know one thing, though, as I have said, not to put a damper on the Thunder and their championship reign, because I'm happy for them. But I did tell y'all this week, they better win right now, because if they don't, you've got KD with the Rockets. They're coming. You've got Cooper Flag, who's about to be a Dallas Maverick in about 48 hours, because the NBA draft is Wednesday evening. Rockets, Mavs. What if the Lakers get a big? What if the Warriors get a big? What if the Denver Nuggets just go get a bench or another big that can give Jokic some damn rest? Because Lord knows he don't never get any rest. The Western Conference is wide the fuck open. And it's up for grabs for anybody. Take the money in the bank briefcase, put it at the top, get the ladder, and go climb that bitch. Who's going to get it? It won't be easy for the Thunder. It won't be. But here's where Thunder fans should be optimistic. And I'm going to leave this conversation alone. The Thunder is still young. SGA just turned, 27? 26, 27? Jalen Williams is like 24. Hartenstein was a big pickup. Just left the Knicks. As soon as he leaves the Knicks, he's a champion in OKC. They're young. They've got 15 draft picks for the next 6-7 years. 15. So they're young, they got draft capital, and the cap space is in great standings, in great shape. And yeah, they're about to give SGA a big extension, and that's okay. They can afford to do it because it's not like they've got a bunch of Kevin Durant's and James Harden's or Kawhi Leonard's eating up their salary cap. They did it the right way. Now, I don't know how many people they can keep to keep this bench intact. I don't know who's coming up for free agency yet with the Thunder. But outside of having to extend SGA, they've got the flexibility, cap-wise, to keep this team intact. And they've got draft picks for the people that they can't keep or can't pay due to the SGA extension they still got draft picks. They've even got a pretty good draft pick for this draft right here coming up Wednesday. And they just won the championship. So it's a bright future for them, and sky is the limit. It's just a matter of how much of a threat can the Rockets be to the Thunder? How much of a threat can the Mavericks be to the Thunder? How much of a threat can the Nuggets be to the Thunder? We know they gave them 7 games. We know that. Before the Pacers, they're the only team that pinched OKC because they just ran through everybody else. And they've been dominant all year. And let's be honest, they were dominant last year. They were a number 1 seed last year too. But the reasons why they didn't win last year was not the reasons why they won this year. All the inexperience, all the young, wet behind the ears, they ain't ready yet. That's all out the window. And that's why I'm happy for OKC. They very well could be a dynasty. And then again, they very well could get knocked off just like that because it's deep in the West. While on the Eastern Conference, if you so happen to get traded to a team in the East or a free agent and you sign with a team in the East, it could be easy pickings for you. So that's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the Eastern Conference because everybody's kind of looking around like that money in the bank briefcase. All you got to do is just grab it and go cash it in. Because you got 3 guys sitting in the middle of the ring right now with torn Achilles and they can't do a damn thing. And I'm not trying to be funny either. I promise you I'm not trying to make these guys the butt of my jokes. I'm just saying that the West is a lot tougher for the Thunder. And the East, it's like, damn. Even the Detroit Pistons right now should be optimistic that they could actually be in the Eastern Conference Finals next year or the NBA Finals. Now the Knicks don't have to go get a Giannis. This Knicks team is just fine now, even though we thought they probably needed to do one more thing, get rid of one more player, add another big fish, get rid of Cat, replace him with a Giannis or somebody. But maybe not. Maybe not now because they don't have to worry about the Celtics. I don't think they will. I think they're going to hit the reset button. I know a lot of Celtics fans disagree. But I'm just saying. Okay, let me read some of these people's comments because I know I've been talking a lot. But I just wanted to say those things because I thought it was very important. Joel Woody said the Pistons is on. See what I mean? And you can feel that way now because it's wide open for the East now. Anybody can take it. The West is deep. But it's a lot tougher. Not so much in the East now. Joseph said, yo, I love the Niners too. Thank you. Me too. Wise man, Joseph. Gonzalez, Kobe was always hurt. He just always passed. He just always played through it a lot. A lot of shoulder issues. He didn't have a lot of injuries while he was winning those championships now. I don't remember. I don't recall. The only injury I recall Kobe going through was that ankle injury in the 2000 finals against Indiana. And yes, he did play through that, and he was a champion. But he didn't tear his Achilles. Zane said, congrats to OKC, man. 68 wins. They deserved it. I agree. Finally, somebody giving them some love, man. We can't just go around calling them injury champs. I could see if Halliburton went down game 1. Or I could see if he just went down, but the Pacers were up 3-1. And the Thunder, we know they only came back and won the championship because he got hurt when they were up 3-1. But they couldn't win another game without. That's totally different. But he played the entire series except for those last 3 quarters, and it was tied 3-3, and it was up for anybody to win it. Blue said he did what he felt he wanted to do, knowing the risk. If I misunderstood your statement, my apologies. No, you're good, Blue. He did do what he wanted to do, knowing the risk. He did. But because he knew, we can't say, oh, man, if he didn't get hurt, they would have won. He shouldn't have been playing in the first place, though. And then we wouldn't even be having this conversation. That's all I'm saying. I don't blame the brother for playing. I just think that players need to start reconsidering so things like this won't happen. Now he's lost his whole season. And who knows if he'll ever get back to this stage again. We don't know. Dan Marino thought that after he lost the Super Bowl to the 49ers and Joe Montana in like his second year in the league, that he was so young, oh man, I'll get back. I'll get back plenty of times. He never got back again, though. He did not. So sometimes you just never know. Sooner Babe says, I think they should. I think the organization puts the pressure on them. See, that's what I get for reading these comments so late. I'm trying to figure out what she's referring to when she says that. I've been talking about so much. I think they should. The organization puts pressure on them. I think she's talking about these players playing hurt. That's what I think she has to be talking about. And I agree with you, Sooner Babe. They're not telling them, you know you don't have to do this now, right? You know you can rupture your Achilles. I'm telling you now, there's consequences. Make sure you know what you're doing. Are you sure you're going to suit up and play? They're not doing all that. It's like he said he's going to play. And he's going to play. That's just that. Because they all want to win. That's just that. But Kawhi be like, hey, wait a minute. Oh, look. I ain't saying shit about playing tonight. I need some more tests. Blah, blah, blah. My knee hurt. Whoa, 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 whoa. And he ain't playing. I'm not saying he's right for doing that. I'm saying at least he ain't missing the whole season next year because he just had an injury that he made a lot worse by taking the risk and playing with that injury. That's all I'm saying. Blue, I appreciate you and your comments and your explanation. I appreciate it, brother. And we can agree to disagree on some of these things. It's okay. But y'all being respectful, though, and that's all. That's what it's about. Through the ups and downs to Durant, Harden, Russell Westbrook, we are NBA champions. Let thunder up, let go. Says Swaggio. Good comment, brother. I'm happy for you, too. Congrats. Congrats. That's been a long time coming. Sooner Babe said, how do we think Washington is going to do in the NFL this year? I thought they did amazing last year. So did I. And I think that it's still up for them. The only way Jaden Daniels has a sophomore slump is if Terry McLaurin can't get that contract extension that he's looking for with Washington. Other than that, I can't see Cliff Kingsbury having Debo now an added piece to use him as a gadget player. The defense, I think if it just gets a little better, Dan Quinn, good head coach, he always gets wins. And nobody in the NFC East ever wins the division back-to-back years. So that means the Eagles are not going to win the NFC East this year. Champions or not. That means that somebody else knew was going to win. And who would you bank on? The Giants? The Cowboys? I would say Washington. So Sooner Babe, I think Washington is going to be fine. I'm not saying they'll go back to the NFC Championship game. The NFC has probably gotten a little better, but yeah, he ain't going anywhere anytime soon. Matt said, go Niners, my brother. That's right. Thank you. Yep. Let me keep going here. Chef Man in the building. Danny in the building. What's up, Zane? Joseph. Randy said lame finals. I'm sorry you feel that way, brother. It didn't end the way we wanted, but it was a good series up until that point. Joel Woody talking about the Pistons. Brian says undefeated in hypotheticals. Hey, man, it is what it is. The O-Ring says, okay, gonna repeat. I like the confidence. They very well can. Shout out to OKC. Garland's injury was so bad, he's gonna miss the start of next season. Oh, damn. Damn. I didn't know that. I thought, was it a toe? I think he may have had to have toe surgery or something like that. Damn. Thank you for that comment, Brian. So maybe not the Cavaliers next year. I don't know. It's wide open for the East, though, because everybody's hurt. Some of the biggest players on the team are hurt. RVM says they definitely got to work on the 3-ball. Who, OKC? And they still won a championship. That's why it's like they could definitely be a dynasty. Did you hear SGA what he said last night about his teammates and Chet Holmgren, how he's just scratching the surface, which is true. Because he wasn't that good. And they still won. He was good defensively the past few games down the stretch. But offensively, the reason why people thought OKC would win in 5 or in 6 or possibly a sweep was because of shit. But give credit to Siakam and Miles Turner. Give credit to the Pacers. They ain't no punk bitch. They were not no chopped liver, and they went out with a fight. They fought hard, and they went out swinging. So that plays a lot of part to why Shit Homer did not have the best series. But he's going to get better. And the fact that he's going to get better, and the fact that Dort is more of a defensive guy than an offensive guy, but he still has these crazy high arcing threes that he can nail, and it's like, oh shit. When he gets to feeling it though, Jalen can go for 30 or 40 at any given moment. They're going to get better offensively, I think. But if they continue to be great defensively, I cannot debate with anybody who says they're going to repeat. But I also couldn't debate with anybody who says it's going to be hard to repeat, looking at the challenges they face coming up next year in the Western Conference. But these teams are good, but it doesn't mean like they're OKC Thunder good. It doesn't mean like they're championship good. Nobody really thinks KD is going to win a championship in Houston. Let's be honest. We think it's a great trade for the Rockets. We think that was perfect for them. They needed him in that backcourt, but nobody really is putting their money on it, saying that they're going to win. Even though the odds did go from like plus 1,800 to plus 800 for them winning the championship. But I ain't putting my money on KD leading any franchise to a championship. Why? Because I just watched the Thunder win despite of that brother KD leaving them when they were a championship team. And he said, I'm gone. I can't deal with this shit. Shout out to SGA because he stayed. Where they had one season where they only won like 28 games. You think KD would have stuck around for that? He couldn't stick around when they were up 3-1 against the 73-9 Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. You thought he would have hung around a team that couldn't win 30 games? That's why I'm happy for those boys. That's why I'm happy for them. But again, what would have happened if Halliburton didn't get hurt? We don't know. And it's a shame that we didn't get to see. Brian said, all-time great defensive teams, but offensively, they are just too young to be consistent offensively. You're right, Brian, and they're still champions with all that being said. So just think about that. That's where I'm trying to get everybody to grasp. What if they get better? What if they do get consistently offensively? It's up for OKC. RVM says they definitely got work to do on the 3-ball. Okay, I read that. OKC fans saying that. Yep, you're being honest. You're being realistic. And you're still champions, though. Thunder are so young. All the picks and the balanced budget, scary team. That's it, Brian. That's it. Sean said, go Birds, man. All right. That Seahawks or Eagles? Or Falcons? What bird? What bird are you? Thunder also have 3, I don't know what FRPS is, and a rumor to be moving up. 3 first-round picks. Hold on, 3? Damn. But like I said, man, they got like 15 picks coming up in the next 6 or 7 years. So Denver can't afford to get anyone. They have to move MPJ to do so. Well, move him. Because he could have did better. I was looking at the Nuggets saying the same thing when I was watching Michael Porter Jr. Like, hey, bro, Aaron Gordon is really playing a lot better than you right now. And I don't think that's the way it's supposed to look. I'm finna get to y'all, YouTube. I promise you. I promise you. Here I come. Shy is come on defense. It's me says. Shy plays defense too, though. He's a cone on defense. What are you watching? He gets steals and blocks too at times. He's better than what people want to give him credit for. It's me talking to Brian says J-Dub should have got the finals MVP because of his scoring and defense. I actually thought he would have got it, but the last 2 games he was pretty bad. So they had to roll with the guy who was consistent with the points, with the scoring. Sean said the Wolves are good enough to beat OKC. Okay. Well, why didn't they? Sean? It's me, okay, but he's not a cone. He's a superstar, offensive player, had 11 blocks in the finals. Thank you, Brian. Some of the disrespect is real. X said he disagrees. Halliburton made me cry, says Gat. I understand. Preston, go Niners, bang, bang. Addison, bang, bang. All right, here go my Niners in the building. Michael in the building. Micah said, give Scott Foster a ring too. Why? Scott Foster didn't coach. He didn't officiate Game 7. Y'all gonna hang y'all head about that Game 4? Y'all still on that Game 4? What did he do? I mean, like, unless it's the 2002 Western Conference Finals, I ain't finna sit up here and say the officiating is why this team won a championship. Y'all gotta be more respectful. Don't disrespect these guys like that, man. So Scott Foster is the reason why the Thunder won 68 games? He's the reason why they swept my Grizzlies? He's the reason why they've been dominant for the past 2 seasons, if you want to be real. Yeah, they had an early exit last year in the playoffs, but y'all ain't being fair, man. But okay, it's your opinion. Rump says, what's good? Man, I can't call it, brother. Holden, what's up? Michael says facts. Holden, Steel Dre, what's up, man? He says, should the Lakers trade LeBron and start rebuilding? Yes, but they won't. Rump says Garrett Wilson on top. All right, Jets. Let's go, Jets, says Rump. I feel you. Jamie, Game 4. That's a 3-1 lead. What happened? What happened? I watched the game just like y'all. I know SGA gets a call here and there sometimes, but y'all are talking like something happened in Game 4 where the Pacers had the game won, but that call is the reason why they lost. Maybe I got a foggy memory. I know I am a little forgetful these days, but that's still one game. Okay, they still won Game 5, and they still won Game 7 without Scott Foster. Sometimes people just gonna hate. They don't like you. They don't like you. Grizzlies just trash. NGA. What is NGL? And thank you, Jamie, for the comment. What is NJL? NGL. What does that mean? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm old school. I don't know. What the hell does that mean? Y'all shorten everything up these days. T. Rich in the building. What's up, man? Welcome back. He says, after Hallie went out, it was basically over. Respect to the champs, though. Well said. That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say. We hated that he went down. But we still got to give credit to the champs. Somebody had to still win. Now, if the Pacers had won the damn championship without Halliburton, there wouldn't be anything to say about the Thunder, right? Nobody would be saying, well, the Thunder didn't play their heart out anymore once that dude went down. They kind of, because you saw how they, like, the energy left the building. They didn't even look like they wanted it anymore for a minute until we got to the second half. And the game was still close up until the third, that run that they made in the third, that big thunderstorm that we talk about all the time. But look, man, I'm not here to change anybody's mind. Think what you want to think. And he won Game 7 without Holly, who was on fire. Not gonna lie, says Jamie. Talking about SGA. Let's see here. Jamie said, ain't the game where he shot 8 free throws in the last 2 minutes compared to the whole rest of the game. Man, look, I ain't gonna spend the whole show trying to take up for SGA or vice versa. Yes, he shot free throws. That's what he did all season long. Okay? When I made my pick as to who was winning the championship, I looked at the roster and I said, So they had an early first-round exit last season. No, that's stunned. They got a chip on the shoulder. I think this team can come back, and I think they'll give Boston a go. Give me the Thunder. Then they got the plan, and I watched, and I said, woo, I like SGA, but that boy do be getting some calls. What I'm trying to say is my prediction came from what I see. All of you people in the chat line right now talking about Man, SGA went to the free throw line a lot. And yeah, they be cheating for him and they be flopping. And Scott Foster should get a ring too. Well, why the fuck did y'all not pick OKC to win? If you knew that this is what been going on all season long, why did you think the Pacers was going to make it any different? See, that's just ignorant. I'm sorry, but that's just what it is. If you're telling me all of this shit after the fact, why were you still saying Pacers in 7, Pacers in 6? And I know they probably were, we don't know, they probably were going to win last night if Halliburton doesn't go down. That's something that we can't answer, though. Y'all can say till y'all drop, till you're red in the face or blue in the face, that the Pacers were going to win if Halliburton doesn't go down. But that still don't make it a fact. That's an opinion. We don't know what would have happened. But let's just say they would have won if Halliburton didn't go out. Okay. Then that would have meant that Scott Foster wouldn't have had anything to do with it. That would have meant that SGA couldn't have shot enough free throws. I'm just confused. Y'all confusing me with your contradictions. Some of you are kind of talking sideways out of your mouth. It ain't making sense. Which one is it? They couldn't have won the championship if Scott Foster is to blame, if SGA gets to the free throw line too much, or any of that. But they done that shit all season long. And that's why I looked at it from a distance and said, during the football season, ain't nobody going to beat them. That's what I saw. And now it's official. Halliburton has a torn Achilles. The Pacers star suffers that injury. They just dropped the news. They just dropped the news. Halliburton has a torn Achilles. Anybody knew that shit. We saw it. We watched the motherfucker pop. I knew then. Damn. Well, it's over. I was ready to record then, but I didn't want to be disrespectful because it's the Pacers. And I'm like, well, they going to fight to the end. So I waited. But I was tired. I'm sleepy. I'm like, I got an early start tomorrow. I would like to get this over with because I know how the outcome is going to go. But I just find it hard for y'all to believe that they would have won with Halliburton, but still can say that Scott Foster deserves a ring. He went to the free throw line way too much. Well, if all that stuff was still going to happen, and they were still going to win, whether Halliburton plays or not. That's all I'm saying. All that ain't making sense to me. Okay, Donnie Jackson is in the building on YouTube. What's up to my cuzzo, YouTube cuzzo? He said he broke the damn TV last night. Now he TV shopping. Donnie, you got to learn to listen to me a little bit more here on this podcast. But yeah, the breaking news is Halliburton sustained a torn right Achilles tendon. It's official now. It's official. He's out for the 2026 season. That's just all it is to it. Unfortunate situation. Alexander Bryant said, bang, bang, Niner game. He said SGA is the best player in the NBA. Thank you for your comments, Alexander. Philip Hall said he's still not the best player in the NBA. He's talking to Alexander there. Bub said OKC won with exclamation marks. Philip Hall said, yep. Okay, I didn't miss much there on the YouTube. Let me catch back up with TikTok. Everybody's going to have their opinion on SGA the best in the league or not. But believe it or not, whether you want to say it or not, whether you agree or not, he's the face of the league until Anthony Edwards or John Morant or somebody else says otherwise. He's a champion. He's a good guy. He's humble. He's not arrogant. He doesn't frown his face up. He doesn't complain. He's not bitching and moaning. Maybe that's because he always gets his whistle blown. I don't know. But he doesn't seem to be like the other guys. He's not flexing every time. He's not saying, look, look, look. I got ice in my vein. Look, look, look. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. You know, like LeBron does in the first quarter. But then you don't see him doing that in the fourth quarter when it matters. But that's y'all go. Whatever. That's neither here nor there. But everybody got their opinion on SGA. I just want to give him his credit where it's due. Memphis in the building said we would have won if Halliburton played. His name is Memphis, but he's a Pacer fan. Okay. And again, just because you're saying it, Memphis, it don't make you right. We don't know if they would have won that game or not. That man played all series long, the whole game, and they still had lost 3 of them motherfuckers, right? So how are you to say that this wasn't going to be one of them? Because he got off to a high start? He also could have gotten cold. Do you think the Thunder were just gonna let him just be raining threes all night, game 7? Do or die? Immediately before he got hurt, what did you see them do when he got the ball back after the timeout? They started trapping him, making him get rid of it. They weren't gonna let him continue to do that. Somebody else was gonna have to come up big. And I'm not saying that they would not have. That's what his presence is good of. That's what's good about his presence. Somebody else would have had to step up though and knock those shots down. Let's see here. Teagan said he could come back late in the season. I don't know, maybe, but I doubt it. After what happened last night, would you try to attempt to come back late in the season? Man, fuck it. Just get well and get healthy. We will see you in the fall of 2026. That's what I say. Trying to come back late in the season, that's how he got his ass here in the first place. This is where he's at right now. I'm just saying, sometimes we got to be smart here. That would be ignorant for him to try to come back. How many times have we seen players try to come back and they mess themselves up by doing so? But thank you for the comment. He very well could try. No, OKC won't be a dynasty. Too many good teams. We'll see. There is a lot of good teams. I've said that. I said they better win now, and they did. Now, it'll be interesting to see if they can continue their success. Now, it's stupid how many players got to have the same injury in low tops. Are they all wearing low tops, man? Could that be the reason? I don't know why these guys are tearing stuff up so quick, though, left to right. Do y'all think he'll try to come back late next season? Halliburton. Mr. Smith said it's stop how many players got to have the same injury wearing low tops. I think I just read that. Okay. He makes a good point, though, y'all. Super G says, congratulations, OKC. Agreed. Hemi V, I don't think people dislike that brand of basketball. They just hate who's doing it. That's a good comment there, Hemi. And I think that was some facts. Yep. Why don't they like who's doing it, though? CD908 says it was highly conditioning that failed him. It's a part of the game. Good comment. Yep. Luca, take notes with the conditioning part. Noah said OKC was losing at halftime. Yep, they were. They were down one big old point. Jamie said all the theatrics for fouls is so weak. Well, SGA doesn't do it like LeBron and Brunson and Harden and everybody else in the league. Pacers in 7, says Noah. That ship is sailed. Because we don't want trash basketball to win, says Jamie. I don't know what Jamie's talking about right there. NBA has free throws at the end of the game. That is basketball, says CD. Yeah, it is. Lil Ant says TJ was hooping his ass off. Yes, he was. Nobody's refuting that either. Hemi V says define fire. Okay. Yeah, I think I've gotten a majority of them. I think I read most of them. All right, so some people don't think there'll be a dynasty. Riley said a wild money in the bank briefcase. Big Red is still talking about Diddy. Who you think OKC trading for in the offseason with their insane amount of draft capital, says A-OK. I don't know, man. Do they need to trade for anybody? Would you? I don't know. I don't know if they need to trade for anybody, to be honest with you. But I want to say thank you to everybody that's watching me on YouTube. It's kind of dead here today, though, on there. So what I'm about to do is jump off of there, and I'm about to go live on X, formerly known as Twitter. Yeah, thank y'all for joining me.